So as you guys know, the final unit video would be the naval units. Now the first naval unit we're going to be looking at would be the fabrication ship that is built from the naval factory. Now here's something to keep in mind: the fabrication ships are actually way different than the fabrication ships that are seen in air vehicles, land vehicles, and bots. And the thing about them is that they can build a complete new array of buildings. They can build jellyfish, which are sea mines, which can be used to destroy the hulls of ships. They have a sea energy storage, sea metal storage, sea energy plant, and sea metal extractor, which makes it entirely possible to focus your entire empire on the sea, which is pretty good and would make a very interesting scenario when you're fighting in a planet that's surrounded by water, well, full of water, and you have a sea-based base, and you have a sea-based army, and they're duking it out. So it's pretty cool. It's much like Red Alert 3, in which you could basically run your entire empire on the sea. And obviously, of course, they can build the advanced naval factory. They can build sonar, which can detect naval threats, which are pretty good against detecting submarines. Torpedo launcher, which are good against submarines as well. And sea barriers, which are like walls on land. The scout vehicle for the naval units would be the Sunfish. Now the Sunfish is pretty fast, lightly armored, and is a nuisance and could do a little bit of harassment, but much like the Firefly and the Skitter, it doesn't do a lot of damage. The next vehicle we're going to be looking at from the naval units would be the Narwhal. Now the Narwhal can do a surprising amount of damage to ships as well as a good amount of damage to aircraft simply because they have the spinner launchers on the back. They're pretty good overall, but they're nowhere near as close as our next ship we're going to be looking at. And the next ship we're going to be looking at would be the Blue Bottle. This behemoth is amazing at killing subs as well as amazing at killing ships. It is the battleship of the seas, the beast of America, and the cousin of its granddaddy, Uncle Swagger McJagger, which we're going to look at pretty soon. This guy is pretty good. The Narwhals are good against anti-aircraft, and these guys are good against anti-ship, even though the Narwhals are okay against ships. So generally you want to build Narwhals to protect the Blue Bottles from aircraft. The final tier 1 ship we're going to be looking at would be the Dolphin. Now the Dolphin does an incredible amount of damage to ships as well as naval factories, but at the same time the Dolphin can be seen by Blue Bottles, and because of this could put the Dolphin at harm's way and could generally completely destroy the Dolphin. Now, the Dolphin is hard to see because it is a submarine, which requires your opponents to actually build sonar or instead detect the submarine beforehand before allowing the Blue Bottles to basically destroy the sub. Now, the sub does do a very good amount of damage against ships, so that means if a battleship doesn't destroy this guy first, this guy will pretty much destroy the battleship. Now the next unit we're going to be looking at would be the Fabricator Sub. Now the Fabricator Sub can build the same amount of buildings that the Advanced Sea Fabricator can build, except it's a sub, which means it's hard to spot, and because of that, it could be very worthwhile to build these guys instead of Advanced Sea Fabricators, because of the fact that if your opponent is attacking you a lot, then these guys can quickly hide away, build a building, and hide again. So yeah, they're very good against staying invis and staying alive. The next unit we're going to be looking at would be the Stingray, which is very potent against aircraft, as well as pretty good against shore bombardment. These guys are behemoths right now. Behemoths. It looks like a carrier, but it really isn't. It's more or less an anti-aircraft vehicle, and pretty good against shore bombardment. And these guys are pretty tough to kill, but they're nowhere near as big as Macdaddy Mcgee, which we will see right now. And here is Macdaddy Mcgee, the mighty Leviathan, able to annihilate ships from afar, excellent at shore bombardment, and they're pretty tough to kill. These guys are the big Macdaddy Mcgees, and let me tell you something, you're going to need 1,000,000 bots in order to destroy this guy. And the final ship we're going to be looking at would be the Barracuda. Now, the Barracuda is an upgraded submarine, which it has the ability to fire more subs, more durable. It's almost impossible to spot, but it's still possible to spot them, and has the ability to fire nuclear weapons. So keep that in mind when bombarding your opponents, that yes, these guys are pretty much mobile death machines. And that's pretty much it for the naval units of the Planetary Annihilation Alpha and the units in the Planetary Annihilation Alpha in general. Next, I'll be looking at the buildings of the Planetary Annihilation Alpha, as well as different games of the Planetary Annihilation Alpha, starring yours truly, Master of Awfulness, and pretty much my final thoughts and blah. I'll see you guys next time. Please like and subscribe for more videos of Planetary Annihilation,